Okay, so now we're off to see Richard Wolstencroft, who is the director of Melbourne Underground Film Festival. He has done for like 17 years now, which is amazing. He's about to prep for a new feature film and he wants my assistance, so we're going to go and meet up with him and see exactly what I'm going to be doing on this movie, whether it's acting or co-producing, what sort of involvement he needs from me, what sort of assistance, we're going to find out. So this is exciting too, because I'm visiting him at his home, which I haven't done so before. So it's a nice invitation, and the guy's made a lot of films and has a lot of connections around Melbourne, so you kind of need to have done a festival. You need to have been in a film festival at Melbourne Underground, I think, before anyone will really take you serious in Melbourne, because it's such a long-term event that's been running, and you can't, from my experience anyway, you kind of need to get one film in there as a feature to establish yourself as a Melbourne director, if that's what you actually plan to do, if you want to make films. This is a great festival that he has designed to give filmmakers that platform. So a lot of people, like we're talking James Wan, even people like Lee Winnell, some quite well-known big names that have gone on to make massive films. They've all done Melbourne Underground Film Festival in the past, so it's kind of a launching pad for a lot of guys. So let's go and talk to him and find out all about his news on his new movie and what I might be doing on it. It's exciting, so that's where we're going now. Rich, thanks for having me, mate.
Nathan, how are you?
Good to be out here, brother.
Good, mate. What's going on?
So this year, Muff, what are we up to? Muff 17?
Muff 17, you know what I mean? 17 years, you get less for manslaughter, mate, you know what I mean? And, 17 years I've been trying to help people in the... and I think I've succeeded, don't you think? I think we have helped many people from, James Wan with Muff 1, and, Patrick Hughes is another one, and there's a whole stack of them, really. And,
That's right.
And up to filmmakers today, like Addison Heath, Stuart Simpson, Nathan Hill.
Absolutely.
A whole stack of people.
Look, you're right though. I mean, credit to you, because you're providing a platform that if it wasn't there, there'd be so many of us, me included, that wouldn't have a voice once we've made our feature. Where does it go? How do you find an audience before distribution in Melbourne?
I think that's great, and I think I've travelled the world. I mean, the Melbourne Underground Film Festival is a small independent film festival, operates on a small budget compared to something like the Melbourne International Film Festival. But whenever I've travelled, and I've travelled to many film festivals, from Cannes to Sitges to Puchon in Korea, festivals in Tokyo, Thailand, exactly. Everywhere I go, they just think Muff is basically as big as the Melbourne International Film. They assume I have a staff of 100 people, which I do, of course. So,
yeah. And one thing I've noticed about you even today as well is your extensive knowledge of history and philosophy. Film text, like
intellectual interest, I guess.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, that was what's interesting to me about all the filmmakers that I admire. I mean, from Francis Ford Coppola to Scorsese to Terrence Malick. I mean, Terrence Malick, few people know, was a student of Martin Heidegger. Like, he studied the philosophy of Martin Heidegger, and who's my particular philosophical interest. I went to university. Not when I was a teenager, like when I was in my late 20s. I'd already run nightclubs, I was already a successful business person. And of course, I'd built up a little war chest of money, and I thought, well, now's the time I can go back to university. And people say, why don't you study film? I said, no, I'm not going to study film, because you can't learn to make a film. The only way to learn to make a film is to go do it. But you can learn things like philosophy. I mean, I think you can study film. You can have cinema appreciation classes, but I mean, I've been watching movies for myself, like someone like Tarantino, etc.
Exactly.
So, that's it.
Great. Brother, and what have you got for me today? You got some presents?
I got some films.
Because I'm really keen on this.
This is Pearls Before Swine. This is my...
I have never seen this. I've been dying to get this off you.
This is the rare American edition.
Yeah, and now, is it true, I heard you slipped this to Tarantino when he was in town recently?
This exact copy.
That's exact copy. So I've got the same thing Tarantino got. Thank you very much.
I slipped that to him. And this is my third feature, which is The Beautiful and Damned.
Yeah.
It's based on a novel by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and it was made 5 years before the Baz Luhrmann Gatsby thing. So we were the first to do that, you know what I mean?
Actually, one thing that I felt we had...
And that stars Kristen Condon, who's gone on to be a bit of a kind of it girl, Chloe Sevigny of the local film scene. So
that's a good way to put it.
Yep.
One thing I also had, I think we have in common, is we've both adapted a novel, because I did the Hide and Seek. Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah. Oh, great.
So that's what I found similarly with yourself.
Jekyll and Hyde is a great thing.
We're probably only two filmmakers in our realm that have adapted a novel, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see many people.
That's great.
And I think that's something that you can do. if you're an independent filmmaker, is adapt. Pearls Before Swine was an original screenplay, but Bloodlust was loosely based on another novel. It's always good to base things on other works. And my latest film, The Second Coming, is based on the writings of William Butler Yeats. There's a whole pile of stuff that's in the public domain. So, you know, get onto it, you know.
I want to ask you quickly as well about your next film.
Sure.
So obviously we don't want to say too much because it's early days of development or whatnot, but you were talking about collaboration. I know I've got DOP and editor kind of lined up already.
Yes, yeah, I'm chatting I'm putting together a new team of people. Hopefully you'll be involved and some other people you know. The project's called The Debt Collector. It's a kind of I mean, the latest film I did was called The Second Coming, Volume 1 and 2.
Yes.
It was my most avant-garde thing. It was based on the poetry of William Butler Yeats, so it's slightly pretentious. So I thought after doing slightly pretentious, because, you know, I think it's yin and yang with filmmaking, I wanted to do something really, you know, balls to the wall kind of like genre. And this is a kind of very taut, you know, kind of revenge piece that I've written. And, you know, I'm going to try and shoot that later in this year. Hopefully this around October, you know, November this year. Okay. So it's exciting, you know.
Correct.
I think there's a whole great movement in Australian cinema that's building, and you know, I think Muff is right at the centre of it, you know.
I think you're right, and the theme this year as well is
let's make the Australian film industry great again, with a little tribute to Donald Trump. We know how to fix things. We know how to fix things right here. This is it. This is where it was decided. Right here on this spot.
You listening out there, people?
That's it. So keep a very close eye on you, Nathan. Don't worry. Very close eye on this one.
The troublemaker.
That's it, mate. All right.
Oh, I love it.
Good.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for today.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.